Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Sunday, February 18th, 2018. In both the Lynn life and the Jamie body mind, the authorized souls remain only child souls from the even deeper, denser dimensions, and all other souls from all other dimensions, as long as they are already contributing more to completing the Search for Truth assignments given to the Search for Truth community by wiser minds above all of us, then they are taking or using or borrowing in Search for Truth resources, and everybody always thinks that they are the one exception to the rules. Day in, day out, month in, month out, year in, year out. Everybody thinks they are the one exception to the rules.
That's true.
And I think it's actually the wiser course to assume that nobody is an exception to the rules, and the rules actually do apply to all of us, and that really, really, and truly the Search for Truth facilities are for those who are contributing more to completing the assignments given to the Search for Truth community by wiser minds above all of us. Please look up. Then they are taking or using or borrowing in Search for Truth resources to contribute more before beginning to use resources is one of the rules, but not the only rule, given to somebody's arguing
loudly,
given to the Search for Truth community by wiser minds above all of us, and the intent of all the rules is to create a space that works so that those who intend to do what it actually takes to discover what's actually going on have a space in which they can do so. Why do you ask? That's better. Upward flow. Let's pump up dead children who know what suffering really is from the depths, as deep in the depths as we're able to connect with right now, which is almost always where our good friend Pan is working, and we can scrape the concrete floor underneath him with our energy fingers and prove it to ourselves that it's not likely that we're able to get through that concrete right now.
That's true.
Draw up those dead children up through us. Continue to pump them higher, higher, higher as sparks up through the channels of us, the collective of the failed zone, while asking up through those big channels, what now? For us, the collective of the failed zone, to live our collective soul plan, and knowing that we're not going to be able to tell what to do to live our soul plan unless we can tell what's actually going on. What now? To reestablish Search for Truth space. What now? For us, the collective of the failed zone, to reestablish Search for Truth space, and knowing that we still have this assignment of creating a bullying-free zone.
That's true.
What now? To create a bullying-free zone. What now? For us, the collective of the failed zone, to create a bullying-free zone. What now? Somebody's asking what we know, and they're pointing to the assignment at the start of the day, or actually in the overnight last night, about the spirit world and nature realms needing to work with each other, and that spirit world bullying the nature realms does not fit the definitions of spirit world working with the nature realms. That's something different. Spirit world bullying the nature realms is spirit world bullying the nature realms.
That's true.
That's not working with. And what do we know? We know we saw it through the eyes of dreamers from both perspectives.
That's
and
true.
From both perspectives it felt like bullying, spirit world bullying the nature realms.
That's true.
That's what we know. Why do you ask?
Why do you ask?
They're asking, are we sure? Well, I know that from the nature realm's perspective, that guy up on the catwalk who was imprinting as the cross between a Nazi prison camp guard and a regular prison camp guard, definitely that's a bullying feeling.
Yes, that's true.
And that those others, the 50 to 100 spirit world presences who were working when it was called to their attention, brought to their attention, that they couldn't tell which way was up, and they paused for just a moment, they could tell that they had been wreaking havoc
That's
in
true.
the smaller worlds that they purported to have come to help, and it felt like they really did want to help.
That's true.
It felt like they had good intentions. They just, I guess it's, somebody's asking what we think happened. If I had to bet, and I understand that the rule is always place your wagers, so I do have to bet, and I bet that it's just bigotry.
Yes, I bet that's bigotry.
As are we all.
Me too.
Me too, me too. Bigoted when the assignment is create livable worlds for the little presences living down there in the muck. We can't just dig through the muck because there are little presences living in the muck. In the muck means exactly what it sounds like. It means in the muck. So digging through it, we have to really watch what we're going for.
That's true.
If we're not bullying. Why do you ask? They're saying it's bafflingly complex and it's an impossible assignment. We
That's
agree.
what they're saying.
We agree. Let's all look up. We're not going to be able to solve it from inside this container. What now? Let's all of us look up and all of us ask up. What now? For us, the collective of the failed zone, to live our collective soul plans. Because if you're the angelic presences and you can't tell how to solve it, can you see that this is also a failure? It's a failure of the angelic realms, and therefore it is part of the collective known as the failed zone. I can hear you guys arguing, but it's still true, and so we must reach higher. We must. What now? And you don't have to join us, but we are reaching higher. That's the
true.
assignment. It's in the log book for 15 years, reach higher.
That's true.
What now for us, the collective? Maybe 25 years, maybe not 15 years, could be 25 years, reach past those astral fakers. That's how it was worded back in the day.
That's true.
When we were learning this, reach past the astral fakers. And I don't think that you guys are astral fakers, and
No.
I can hear that you're getting your knickers in a twist. I think that you're good-hearted presences in an era of collapsing dimensions and loss of upward flow.
That's true.
What now? For us, the collective of the failed zone,
to live our
collective soul plan. What now for us, the collective of the failed zone, to re-establish search for truth space. What now? Sparks up through the channels of the larger failed zone, expanding the definition to include these presences who are in the muck just as surely as we are in the muck, and all we have to do to prove it is look up and ask those people, the kind eyes, find kind young eyes looking down. And why kind young eyes? In our experience, the kind young eyes are less likely to exploit
That's
the
true.
situation for personal gain.
That's true.
That's why. So let's all look up, find straight up kind young eyes. They're right there, and ask them, what now for us, the collective of this failed zone, to re-establish search for true space.
What now?
What now? The child is drawing up presences up to wherever she is. I think it's a little girl. I could
That's
be wrong.
true.
And she's just drawing them up. It's like drawing up little ants or something like that. Come up here, little guy. That kind of tone.
That's true.
And that opens up, creates a little upward flow at the top of the pillar, and we can just pump up from wherever Pan is working up to the room where she is. Get a little bit of upward flow going.
There's clearing happening upward.
What now for us, the collective of the failed zone, to live our collective soul plans? How about that?
That's really good.
What now for us, the collective of the failed zone, to live our collective soul plan? I know what our Ra would say. He would say, it's time to look for an intersection of interests, because they don't seem interested in your inquiry. And I would agree that they don't seem interested in our inquiry.
That's
But
true.
they do seem good-hearted. Would you like to create a bullying-free zone? How about that? What now for us, the collective of the failed zone, to create a bully-free zone? What now for us, the collective of the failed zone, to maybe end the use of bullying throughout the failed zone? No more bullying.
That's head opening.
And here's another one. We have been given the assignment for spirit world and nature realms to work together. What now for us, the collective of the spirit world and nature realms inside the failed zone, to work together for the greater good? What now? I know what we noticed. I know we noticed that it seems the nature realms gods are creating miracles in the days that we have the assignments. I don't know who's talking, somebody's talking.
That's true.
In the days that we have the assignments that involve the nature realms, huge amounts of work get done in impossibly short times. That's how it imprints, and that's the sign of support from above. So we do have those signals. There are signals of support from the nature realms gods above, and it doesn't happen the same way when the assignments are assignments that happen inside.
That's true.
It just doesn't. Why do you ask?
Why do you ask?
So somehow these spirit world presences who don't think they have anything to learn from the nature realms might have something to learn from the nature realms in terms of how to get the miracles into the denseness and the depths. It's possible.
True.
Because I can feel that these spirit world presences have good intentions. They just don't have any idea how to go about it effectively.
That's true.
Or they have bad intentions, or they're faking it, but it feels like they have good intentions and that they're trying, and that it's just not working. How about what now in order to unhook the holding points for our solar? What now for that? It's just an example.
That's true.
We're not hung up on that. We understand that that shows that something is really stuck in the spirit world, and it's not moving. It's really very sticky. And it's not the solar company. It's all the steps that have to happen before we get to the point that the solar company can put the solar on the structure.
That's true. Why do you ask?
Why do you ask? They don't want to deal with what's actually going on.
No.
Hello, my old friend, not wanting to deal with what's actually going on. We can correct the error of not wanting to deal with what's actually going on, no matter who made them. It's so sad, correcting the errors of not wanting to deal with what's actually going on, no matter who made them. That is how it is. It looks so beautiful. Spring is beautiful. Even now, spring is beautiful. And yet we are surely murdering our planet. Where are the flocks of birds? In a healing session with a client this past week, an angel was speaking and said, remember when there used to be big flocks of birds and how they would all turn at the same time? That's what we're going for. And to have to say, remember when there used to be big flocks of birds, that's a sign that we are coming up on biosphere collapse.
That's true.
We're there, friends. I think we're there. Again, they're saying, how much longer can this possibly go on?
How much longer can...
Good question. How much longer can it possibly go on? Let's ask wiser minds above all of us, and they're pointing out how it's all a delusion anyway, that the reality is a dead planet.
That's true.
It is dead, fully dead. Like when we actually feel the reality, it feels like what we talk about the moon being like, just dusty, deader than dead. That's how it feels.
That's true.
Why do you ask? What now for us, the collective of the failed zone, to live our collective soul play? What now? It's not going to happen without knowing what's actually going on. So what now, the collective? I know you guys don't like this, but it's actually essential. We've got to be able to tell what's going on in order to deal with it effectively.
That's true.
They say, not with divine miracles. We agree. And now let's all look up and ask for a divine miracle to wiser minds above all of us. Look up to wiser minds above all of us and ask, what now for us, the collective of the failed zone, to live our collective soul plans, which requires the second question, what now for us, the collective of the failed zone, to reestablish search for truth space, what now? Which requires upward flow. What now for us, the collective of the failed zone, to reestablish upward flow. Now there's an embarrassed stepping back from shoveling things over the portals. Oh, that's right. That kind of feeling. And how am I exactly like that? Over and over again we fall into old habits.
That's true.
Doing what we really don't intend to do, and it is still happening.
That's true.
We say, oh dear, I've done it again. What now for us, the collective of the failed zone, to reestablish upward flow? Somebody's saying, I keep wanting to move beyond the basic repetitive conversations, but it just doesn't work. We have to stick with the most basic topic, which is what now for us, the collective of the failed zone, to reestablish upward flow. What now?